So thank you so much for coming. Let us take a moment. This is the 12th of April, 2022. We're here with the guides, feeling the energy of stillness beginning to pour down from above as we feel our connection with Mother Earth beneath us. As we begin to slow down everything, as we begin to sense that the stillness is growing, the light in this column that rises between Mother Earth and Father Sky, filled with golden light, is allowing each one of us to sense that beautiful golden downpouring of light, that energy of love, that energy of complete unconditional love pouring down and filling our whole being, filling that chalice that is in the very center of our hearts. As we slow down our breathing, we let go of our thinking, and we sense Mother Earth joining us from below us and pouring down from above us. Welcome. Find yourself a place to sit. Let us now begin to sense also, as we feel Mother Earth and Father Sky and that beautiful warming of our hearts as it expands, and as that beautiful golden glow begins to expand from within our hearts, from that chalice in the very center, and starts to reach out to weave together all of our hearts, sending out those threads that we are so familiar with, allowing them to touch the hearts of all those we love, our family, our friends, our neighbors, those who need that little extra bit of light, that little extra bit of warmth, of comfort, of reassurance that somehow everything is in divine order, that there is nothing to worry about, because worry is counterproductive, and that if they allow themselves to settle, connect with Mother Earth, with Father Sky, and feel that alignment, that sense of place, that no matter where they are, no matter where we are, knowing that we have our alignment with heaven and earth wherever we are, will give us that sense of being in the full present moment, fully within our bodies, allowing our hearts to guide every step, and allowing our minds to be the servant of our hearts, so that whatever comes forth, we always understand that there is a perfection to it, and that we can meet each moment with our hearts open, allowing ourselves to feel that safety, allowing ourselves to know that we are not alone, that there are around us these guides, these angels, that we are always protected as long as we trust and have patience and know deep within us that everything passes, that this is but a passing show, and that nothing can truly harm us because we are immortal, we are infinite, we are universal, we are eternal beings of light. And we are here at this momentous time to experience the fullness of the range of emotions, the fullness of the majesty of what is truly taking place upon this planet. Because if you look beyond the illusion, if you understand that within each challenge is an amazing golden opportunity for a whole new level, a whole new vibration to step into our lives, and for us to cross perhaps one more threshold, to raise our vibration that little bit extra, so that we start to sense that we are lighter, that we are filling with light, and that the element of heaviness that has been with us so long is slowly but surely drifting down into the density, and that we, as we expand in this golden light, are raising our vibrations so that we are rising in frequency, and we are able to see from a much bigger perspective. We are able, like the eagle, like the hawk, to have that bird's eye view of the whole picture, and that we do not get distracted by the news, that we do not be hoaxed by all of the hype, that we do not become victims of the mass media spin that tries to keep us in fear, that tries to keep us worried, and that continues to diminish that essence of soul, of spirit, of that vitality that we truly are. For there is nothing that can harm us, absolutely nothing, when we understand that everything is an illusion, and that we are, in fact, these souls that have come to this planet to bring more light to it, to expand that light within ourselves, and to send it out to shift the consciousness on this planet in such a way that we can finally have that new earth that our hearts have hungered for so many thousands of years, through so many incarnations, through so many disappointments, through so many betrayals and upsets and losses. There is that sense that that silver lining is becoming that light at the end of the tunnel, that somehow the edges of the tunnel are beginning to get brighter as we move forward into a space of knowing that everything is moving in a direction of the greatest benevolence possible for the greatest number of people. And as we open our eyes and seek to find the truth behind the illusion, we begin to recognize and understand that we are part of the solution for all of the problems that we are facing as a collective and individually as well, and that we are in fact creating a positive future, a positive destiny for ourselves, for our children, for the earth, and for all of life. And the way we do this is by staying positive, by understanding, by knowing, and by imbibing, embracing more and more light and allowing it to overflow so that our chalice in the center of our hearts, as it fills with that sense of stillness, that sense of peace, that sense of knowing that all is well, that all is in God's or Goddess's hands, and that as we trust, as we show up with our hearts open, that the chalice begins to overflow because it can only hold so much of that golden light, and then it must begin to radiate it out and touch the hearts of all those people who are suffering. And so we send our sympathy out, we send our love, we send our comfort to those in distant lands that are suffering from war, that are suffering from starvation, that are suffering from all the horrors that human beings inflict one upon the other. And we send that light so that it may touch and open the hearts of others, especially those that are in fear, especially those that are unable to see through the illusions, to see through the indoctrination, to see through the dumbing down of those who are in power, of those who wish to control, of those who wish to enslave. And as this world is somewhat of an illusion, however, there is still a need to have your feet firmly planted on the earth, to be able to engage fully with human beings, with creatures, with nature, with all of life. It is important that even if you understand and know that you are a soul inhabiting a body with an emotional body, even if you are immortal, even so, it is necessary to engage with everyone in your life. It is necessary to pay the bills, to have a roof over your head, and to have food. And so what it means is that as you become aware of yourself as immortal, as eternal, as a soul, you begin to show up with a different attitude. You begin to show up with less judgment of yourself and of all others. You begin to understand that everybody is facing tremendous challenge and that everyone carries a tremendous amount of baggage from their childhoods and from their ancestry, and that everyone is given the opportunity to open their hearts and to see through that silver lining, to see through that shining light that the end of the tunnel drawing near is beginning to emit, so that it is guiding each one along a particular pathway that is intended to bring them to the ability to release their old karma, their old debts, and to begin to find that place within their hearts of forgiveness. Because everything that you hold on to, every grudge that you are not willing to let go of, all the sadness, all the pain, all the anger, are lower vibrational energies that keep you stuck, keep you in the density, instead of allowing you to experience that lightness of being that you become when you raise your vibration, when you begin to have compassion for those who are suffering, when you begin to even have compassion for those who have hurt you, for those who have been difficult to deal with in your lives. And you understand that actually everyone is connected, that everyone is an aspect of God's love. Everybody is an expression of God's love. And so you begin to understand that everyone is another you, that each person is but a facet, a reflection of that immense wholeness that is the all that is. And that when you harm yourself, you harm another. When you harm another, you harm yourself. And that every ripple goes out into the universe and is recorded in the records. And so you begin to lighten up. You begin to find more fun. You begin to play more. You begin to take things a little lighter. Perhaps you will joke a little more, or perhaps you'll spend more time watching some comedy or watching something that is not so heavy and so serious. Perhaps you will even consider that you stop watching the news, that you stop listening, that you stop reading these stories of what is going on in the external world. And you focus on that place within your heart where the truth can be made manifest. You focus on that receptivity, that softness, that feminine energy that allows itself to settle, that allows itself to have enough space to trust, has enough patience to wait, to watch. Imagine that you are that hunter from long ago and your life depended on the hunt and whom you might catch for your dinner. It was very necessary to be able to sit quietly and patiently until that right moment to spring into action. And so we would recommend that today you are no longer in the jungle. You are no longer in the veldt, on the plains, looking for your dinner, but you are living in a completely different world. And yet it is necessary to slow down. It is necessary to find that space, to find that peace, to find that moment of stillness. And if you start to feel a little overwhelmed, that you are able to step back. You are able to take a deep breath and perhaps let go of that urgency. And perhaps you are able to take that moment, that breath, to let go of that sense of worry, that sense of some kind of danger that has been imprinted into you through the imbibing of all the fear that is around you. And instead, in that moment that you take a breath, you let it go, and you just know that you'll be okay. You have always been okay. Somehow or other, you made it through every single challenge. Somehow or other, the past ended up in the past, and it's no longer relevant to the moment. It's no longer part of your present experience. Perhaps you were harmed. Perhaps you had great fear or great loss or great challenge. And you realize that you managed to get to where you are today. You found the courage. You found the strength. You found that moment in which you could say a prayer and ask for help. And you came through. And now we allow that past to be the past. We do not wish to carry it with us into the future. It is very difficult, perhaps, but it is now extremely necessary that you are able to come to that place within your heart of enough compassion, of recognition that everyone has their challenge. It is different from yours, perhaps, but yet each one struggles with their inner demons. Each one struggles with the ways in which they relate to the world. And so it becomes easier when you recognize this, becomes easier to forgive. And it all really boils down to forgiveness. If you wish to have compassion in your life, if you wish to have a sense of satisfaction, equanimity, that sense of inner peace, it is necessary for you to be able to forgive, to be able to let go of blame, of shame, of judgment. For the judgment of another is always a reflection of your own self-judgment. And it is not necessary. There is no benefit whatsoever that you accrue from judging yourself. On the contrary, it is the love of self that allows you to experience the love of others. For when you are complete within yourself, when you understand that everyone is part of a world of suffering, and that it is possible to transcend that world and to live each moment in ease, in grace, in magic, to allow the serendipities, those moments of magic that show up every once in a while, to allow them to fill you and remind you that they are like the silver linings, that whenever there is a cloud, the rain will come. Whenever there is a thunderstorm with lightning, it too will bring a change into the environment, into the weather. For everything changes. This too shall pass. Everything you are experiencing in this crazy world of yours at this time will pass. It will seem like just a blip in time. And you will laugh and joke about how crazy it was and how much you learned and how many new things and new people you got to meet and experience as a result of the limitations and the restrictions and all of the things that were imposed upon you. And perhaps you found ways to circumvent the energies that were not comfortable for you. You found ways to rise above. You found ways to get together and embrace, to get together and support each other. Perhaps you came closer and closer to recognizing that sense of community, instead of hiding behind the mask, instead of living in fear. You lived in trust, in faith, in hope, knowing that this too shall pass. For indeed, who would have thought that 2 years ago your lives would change so dramatically? And so you have been becoming used to a new normal, a very different normal. And perhaps within that space, you have met a range of people that have enriched your lives. And perhaps many of those that were burdens to you have dropped away because everything changes. For as you raise your vibration, as you become of a higher and higher frequency, because you love more, because you embrace and radiate more light, you become lighter. And all the heaviness has the ability to fall away. You can let more and more go. You could take that weight that's on your shoulders and let it go. You do not have to carry the burdens of your ancestry, of your parents, of your old ways that did not bring benevolence and joy. And you can send that light into the levels of other vibrations, of other dimensions. You can send your light to your ancestors. You can send your love across the veils to bless all those who have suffered, to let them know that the world is now transforming into a world of light, into a world of grace, into harmony and peace and love, and that the old ways will no longer be able to sustain themselves if they do not support life, if they are not of the highest order, if they do not bring joy and pleasure and satisfaction. And so everything in your life begins to slow down when you are not afraid, when you trust, and when you know. For nothing can ever harm you when you recognize that you are divinity itself in expression. You are the love of God. You are the love of the angels of light. You are that immaculate love and light of which you were born. You are the essence of divinity itself. And that essence exists in every single cell. For each cell carries the memory of your origin, of your blueprint, of your purpose. Every cell is connected to every other cell. They all work together as one community. Just as the humanity is beginning to catch glimpses of ways in which they can recognize themselves, each one, each individual soul and personality can begin to recognize and understand that they too are like a cell in the body of God. They are part of the community of all that is. They are embodiments of the living spirit that is in all life. The chi, that moment of conception, that divine explosion of nothingness into something which we call life. The most precious gift that was given. Life and free will choice to choose life, to choose light, to choose to love instead of hate, to choose to forgive. For the energy of what we call the spiritual warrior, one who is willing to face their demons, one who is willing to live an impeccable life, not as an ascetic, not as one who denies the body and its needs or the emotions, but one who honors and recognizes the magic and the beauty of what it is to be human, and at the same time, the magic of what it is to also be divine. For you are all angels. You are human angels that have come here to bring forth the new world. You have come to bring more light to this planet than there was before you arrived. The more you love, the more you call in the light and send it out, the more you send your compassion and your love and even your dollars and your support to those who suffer, to those who are still dwelling in the darkness, who are scared, who have no ability to feel that trust because they have never known it. And so you send them that ripple of love. You send them that radiation, that ray of light. You beam your light outwards to touch the hearts of those in need, of those who suffer, of those who are ill, of those who have no hope. You send out that radiance. You become the lighthouse so that the ships do not flounder in the storm, in the tempest, in the times. And instead, they see your light and they know how to steer. They know how to follow your example. For when you embody that energy of stillness, of peace, of equanimity, it will be felt and it will be wondered at. How did that one become so peaceful? How is it that nothing bothers them? How is it that every opportunity they have, they bless instead of curse? They smile instead of scowl. And they bring forth that soft touch to reassure. Perhaps they'll crack a joke and they'll allow you to stop that urgency, to stop that sense of overwhelm, and also be able to take that breath and feel a little calmer. For all the solutions to your issues upon this planet will be solved within that breath, within that moment of moving into ease, into softness. For you are in many ways the harbingers of the return of the sacred feminine, of the divine feminine, and the new balance that is coming, that is already appearing on this planet, of the ones who recognize that they are masculine and feminine, all in one, that there is more respect and honoring the one for the other, and that the divine feminine and the human feminine are being honored in ways that for so many thousands of years they have not been. And you understand that when you get soft, when you are vulnerable, when you show a little of that softness of your heart open, of that weakness perhaps, and you are honest, and you allow others to see the truth of who you are, even if it is a human being that is suffering. You do not have to always be cool. You do not have to be the dude with the sunglasses who shows up swaggering. You can be honest and allow everyone to know that behind that swagger, there is tremendous pain and anger. And that instead, you just want to be loved. You just want to give love and help somebody. And so we are coming to a time in your evolution where we have focused on that word forgiveness, because it is in many ways the epitome of what it means to stop judging, what it means to love unconditionally, what it means to truly have compassion, to have the religion of kindness instead of exclusiveness, instead of exclusion of another because they look different or feel different or believe different. And so when you come to that place of compassion, everything gets softer. Everything that you have been carrying on your shoulders, all the responsibility, all the weight, all that heaviness, all that sense of tension and stress and worry does not help you any to achieve your goals. It gets in the way. And so you allow your shoulders to warm. You allow your back to get soft. You allow all that weight to just melt away. You allow the oaths that you may have taken in other lifetimes to other ancestors, all the vows, all the agreements that were based on a time of chaos, that were based on fear, that were based on terror, that were based on oppression and struggle. You allow them to dissolve away as well. And instead, you embrace the vow to love unconditionally. You make the commitment to yourself and to everyone else that everything you do, you will do for service. You will do because it brings joy. You will do it because it makes it easier and lighter for others as well as yourself to exist upon this planet in a harmonious, life-enhancing way. And you understand that what is needed must be sustainable. It cannot be part of a throwaway attitude of something being dispensable, of humans being property, being dispensable, part of a machine that creates wealth for a small minority. And so you understand that you are a living example of what it is like to live this kind of exemplary life, to be the model for peace, to be the model for stillness, for equanimity, for harmony, for cooperation. So it is time to stop the talking and to take a moment and consider what we might do next. Perhaps it is time for a break, or perhaps it is time to ask some questions. But it is time definitely to take a moment to have a pause. So thank you for being here. For now, we will stop the recording.